Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome back to Stellaris, which has just picked up a huge amount of new stuff between the brand new DLC, BioGenesis, and a huge free update as well, going over to version 4.0, so, okay, seriously, there is a lot to cover today, but before we get to that, I should already hopefully be very clear, and also not entirely unexpected, this here is a sponsored video because, seriously, at this point we're pretty much on first name terms with the guy who drives the Paradox money van. Like, you know, we invite him in for tea, he's a nice guy. And yeah, Paradox just sends me money to play Stellaris, which I would 100% have been playing anyway. So, you know what, that's fine, I'm not going to say no. But yes, let's get back to the important business here. The BioGenesis DLC and the brand new 4.0 update, because this may be the biggest set of changes they've made to the game since back in the days of the 2.0 and 2.2 Planetary and Hyperlane update. Stellaris just evolved into a whole new game. Anyway, let's just dive on in and meet the Empire we're going to be playing with today. So, say hello to the Friendly Bear Picnic Society, who are definitely 100% a chill species you don't need to worry about. As you can see, we're just friendly teddy bears. Please ignore these suspicious tendrils and mysterious spiky buildings. And that flag. We'll update that flag to something nicer at some point, I promise. But yes, as you may have guessed from the name of BioGenesis, the big focus of the latest expansion is biological bits and pieces. And that includes a full biological ship set. We're no longer stuck in building our fleets out of boring stuff like aluminium or whatever it is you build fleets out of. Oh no, now we get to grow our own fleet from scratch. And if you choose to do this, it changes everything about how your empire functions, because all of a sudden, you're building your ships out of food. And you're also maintaining them using food as well. So food just became the single most important thing. And I know what you're thinking, John. It clearly says there, alloys. You're still partly building your ships out of that boring aluminium stuff. And don't you worry, we can fix that too, because my alloys are also made out of food, okay? I can make those out of food too, so everything is in fact made out of foods. And when I say everything, by the way, I really do mean everything, because this is not just for your ships. This also means your starholds and defense platforms are made out of foods. And even your planet-cracking super weapons, those are grown out of food too, so, okay, this is, yes, a very different, exciting, sexy new way to play the game. So, in terms of our ships, we're going to be embracing some nonsense and biological wackiness, and when it comes to our species, we're going to be doing just the same thing, because another big focus of BioGenesis is bioengineering, tinkering with genetics, all that good stuff. And for that reason, I'm embracing the evolutionary predator's origin. You see, my species isn't going to have a boring standard normal DNA. Oh no, we're gonna have all sorts of wacky, constantly mutating nonsense going on, which means, as a starting point, we get a very special trait indeed. Oh yeah, it's a flipping auto-modding. And what that means is, if my people are working in mines, they just pick up a temporary trait that makes them better at mining. If they're working in a farm, it makes them better at farming. If they're working in a science lab, they get more intelligent. Just every single pop is going to be amazing at the job it's doing. This is an incredibly powerful tool. The only downside being, 6 trait points are required to put it in play. But honestly, that is well worth it. You're basically getting industrious, ingenious, intelligent, loads of other traits for free by taking this trait. And it's not as difficult to pay for as you might be expecting, because you may notice a brand new negative trait right here. Rooted, as in literally rooted to the ground. It's worth a large number of points you could spend elsewhere, but does come with a disadvantage that, yes, it's much more difficult to move your population from one planet to another, because, you know, they have very literally put down roots on the planet they're already on. And I can only take that because my species is a fungoid. Loads of traits are now tied to the type of species you're playing as, which adds a lot of flavour to playing as, say, a mammal versus a plant, etc, etc. Now that'd be good enough for just by itself, access to auto-modding is amazing. But oh yeah, evolutionary predators get you one more thing as well. Adaptive evolution, which means every time I encounter, by which I mean eat, a new species, my species gets stronger and stronger by picking up more and more new traits. And that, once again, is already hilarious by itself, because you could just be swimming in a ridiculous number of positive traits relatively early in the game. But then we mix this with one of the new civics, and this is where I think things are going to start getting a bit silly. Say hello to shared genetics, meaning basically, yes, my DNA and my ship's DNA is bound together. Every time I pick up a positive main species trait, my ships get stronger and stronger in terms of how much health they've got. And for every negative main species trait, they start firing faster. Now I'm starting this game with 3 negative traits and 2 positive. And I've got an ongoing situation that lets me keep adding additional traits into my species on a regular basis. So basically, yes, this game is going to be dedicated to desperately producing as much food as I can make, and eating as many aliens as I can get my hands on in order to grow, evolve, and basically consume the entire galaxy. So say hello to our normal and entirely not suspicious homeworld, which our neighbours do not need to be worrying about in the slightest. And, okay, before we get into all of the nonsense I'm planning with all the exciting sexy new toys of BioGenesis, there's one thing we need to cover off too, which is, oh yeah, things have changed when it comes to how you manage planets. In the big Free 4.0 update, they've just overhauled that entire system, and do enjoy how this is not the first time this has happened. Like, you may recall, back in the mist of time, when Stellaris first came out, we managed planets with a little tile system, and you put buildings on the tiles, and it was adorable, and I kind of miss it sometimes. It was delightfully charming. And then, in version 2.2, we went over to the district system, which we've had for a very, very long time. Until today, because yeah, it's just had a little bit of a tweak to it. So, up until now, basically, yes, what you did was, you built urban districts in order to unlock building slots, and building slots were where the exciting, sexy infrastructure went. However, you might instead choose to build, yes, these rural districts down bottom to make energy, minerals, or food. However, because they were competing for space with urban districts, the planets that had all your mines, etc., tended to end up being a little bit smaller. So, in general, the way empires would shake out would be a few core worlds that were heavily urbanized, and some smaller outlying worlds which produced the raw materials that you fed into the core of your empire. And that's changed a bit because, yes, the new name of the game is Specialization. So this here is an archives district, and basically it controls these 3 building slots. Because the archive is dedicated to advanced infrastructure related to science or unity, those are the only buildings that can go inside these here building slots. So if we just open up this here menu, there we go. Research labs and the 2 unity buildings that hive minds get. Heavy industry, meanwhile, would you flipping believe, is yes, where your industry goes, which for me is alloy production, because I'm playing as a hive mind, and hive minds just don't do anything with consumer goods. So as a result, alloy production is all I flipping need. However, these districts are not set in stone. On the contrary, anytime I want to, I can swap them out, and this is where, yes, things could get way more specialised than they ever used to be. So the archives that we were just talking about there, yeah, that could contain Unity and Science buildings. However, I might be willing to say, hey, forget about Unity buildings, I literally want those building slots to be dedicated to just Science. And as a result, I'm more restricted, but also, I'm getting more science out of my investment. The more you specialise, the more you get out of it, and as we go a bit further down, yes, then things start getting a bit silly. These are science districts dedicated primarily to one single branch of science. But, okay. Probably I shouldn't be worrying about a dedicated engineering planet just yet, because, as you may have noticed up in the top left there, yeah, I'm currently running a food deficit, and food is what I need for, like, everything. So probably a better idea we just, yes, get some farms built as soon as possible. And while that farm's building, by the way, you're right. You may notice the numbers are a bit different to what you might be expecting, which is, yes, what we've got now is an agricultural district generating 200 agri-drone jobs. My current population, meanwhile, is now over 5,000 pop, so yeah, the numbers are just a bit bigger than they used to be. But luckily, yeah, we've got 2,500 maintenance drones down bottom. Basically, guys who are just chilling out, quietly getting on with producing a slightly ridiculous number of amenities. However, when agricultural districts become available, they'll jump up to those jobs instead. So here we go, right now we've got, yes, 800 agri-drone jobs are generating 600 food, that jumps up to 1,000, those jobs are immediately filled, and we're up to 77 food, which is, better. But we're still only making a surplus of 1 food a month, in a situation where I need food for literally everything. So, right, let's just, keep building additional farms, basically build as many farms as it's possible for us to build. Oh, and this is fun, by the way, which is, you may have noticed we've not yet captured and or eaten any aliens. Despite that, however, my adaptive evolution is making very fast progress towards giving me a brand new species trait. Officially, the reason is, yes, my homeworld's got the modifier, genetic soup. There's just a huge amount of really weird mutant biodiversity on our starting world. So if we just allow the clock to tick over to next month, there we flippy go. I now get to add some sort of a wacky trait into my species. And delightfully, I just don't really know what it's gonna be. Like, I get a vague idea, something to do with it growing faster, something to do with leaders, something to do with fungoids, because I'm a fungoid, so the only DNA I've been exposed to is fungoid DNA, so I might get something related to fungoids, like say for example, budding or whatnot, or embrace the chaos, could be flipping anything, so, okay. I'm gonna say, species needs to grow faster. That is never a bad thing. And straight away we picked up, hang on, we picked up one of the weird growth perks on this occasion. During any war or crisis, pop growth will explode by 30%. Okay, so I've now got a very good incentive to go to war as soon as I can find anyone to beat up, and on top of that, every time this happens, and that's happened in like 5 years, I get an extra 2.5% to my ship hulls. So, yeah, this syncs up rather nicely, doesn't it? Oh, and hello, sexy. We've got some aliens nearby. And if I just start a war with them like any war whatsoever, my population is going to go bananas. So, right, if we've got a war coming, that means, weirdly, I need to start farming immediately, because I need enough cooking food to build my fleets. Now, luckily, we've got just the thing up the road. A tropical world, very appropriate for me, with a decent number of agricultural districts, and, you know, that'd be good for farming anyway. But under the new system, oh, just you flipping wait. Things could get a bit bananas. And okay, while I'm waiting for that colony to go down, yeah, I did just have a thought about my homeworld, which is, I've got this heavy industry sector right now that I don't really need for anything, because my ships need a lot less alloys than an average Empire's would. So you, sir, are getting swapped out for an admin hub, so I could put nothing in here, but yes, dedicated Unity buildings. I'll still need some alloys though, so yeah, I'll just build an alloy foundry over here, because over on the left side of your city, you can build anything you want. Okay, now that's looking a lot more to my liking, because there's something very sexy about a very specialised restrictive districts I've not really discussed yet, which is, they're not just a place where you can put buildings. Instead, because this is a very specialised administrative hub, every time I put down a city district, I gain an additional 100 synapse drone jobs, and a dedicated building only creates 200. So the buildings in many ways aren't actually the most important thing in the slightest. If I just build this hub at all, even if I never build anything in it, then for every single city district I build, that would generate another 100 jobs. Like, city districts are now multipliers for what you've got in your city, and the numbers can get a bit silly over time, yes. And that's just one half of the equation, because this new system is not just about, you know, creating megacities or whatever. It also allows you to create mega farms. So, how about instead of, like, you know, science districts or whatnot, I specialise this city on our brand new world of Carbonara into being a farming support. And if I do that, basically, I'm giving up 3 building slots on this world. However, because a farming support exists, I'm going to give a boost to every single farmer on this planet of 20% for every single flipping city district. this is a large planet. It could have up to like 23 city districts, so 300-400% multipliers are entirely flipping possible. You could create ridiculous food worlds far greater than you've ever been able to do before. Now, there are costs, however, which is, yeah, the more you do that, the more the trade upkeep of farmers increases, which might sound a bit odd, but yes, these days, trade is just a bankable resource like any other. So, we're gonna do that and build some farms and build some farming support, and in no time whatsoever, our food economy is going to go bananas. Oh, better and better, we've met the neighbours and you guys are ugly as anything. Gonna be honest, I was mainly looking forward to eating these guys, and they don't look appetizing, do they? No, not particularly, but that's fine. Like, you know, they'll be served diced or whatever. We won't need to look at their faces while we're eating them. And right, officially, they're mammals, and that's kind of significant because, yes, kind of the entire point of my evolutionary predatory McGibliness is, yes, we want to consume as many different varied genes as possible. Right now, we're just consuming the fungoid genes because that's what we are. So, okay, delicious mammals, that's what we need to get on the menu, apparently. Okay, a few months later, my two planets are now diverging in a very cool, interesting ways, which is, I've now got a dedicated research wing and a dedicated admin area. And as a result, every time I build a new city district, every one of them is making as many jobs as an actual building would. In fact, right now, yeah, the building I've constructed only accounts for 200 synapse drones. But I've got 800 in my empire. Most of them are just coming from that really dedicated zone, and then, you know, me building more and more city districts. Over on Carbonara, meanwhile, we've kind of done the same thing but in reverse. So yeah, we've got plenty of farms, we've got more and more cities too, and thanks to farming support, these cities are backing up my farmers and making them more and more efficient. In fact, yeah, you can really see the impact down on the ground here. So back at my homeworld, it takes 1,400 agri-drones to produce, yeah, barely 140 foods. Over on Carbonara, about half that number of drones is producing well over half that amount of food. Oh, better and better, we've even unlocked specializations for our rural districts, because these could go two very different ways as well. Either I could say, hey, my farms are farms, so give me some building slots and also more agri-drones, better and better. Or alternatively, I could say, actually, our farms are now dedicated to supporting biological research, so they produce less food, but as a result, yeah. In theory, you could set up a world where all of the buildings are dedicated to, say, biology research, and then all of your flipping farms are just going to support the same thing, so seriously, the level of specialization in this new system is gorgeous and sexy, and I love it. For me though, oh no, just give me more and more focus on farming, please. Oh, bloody hell, while I was just preparing for a war, getting down a new planet, etc, etc. Did we just pick up extremely cocking adaptive? Because that's worth 4 trait points by itself. Habitability, 20%! Meaning all of a sudden, huge numbers of worlds that were just red a second ago have gone yellow. Our ability to colonize has just gone up massively right there. Okay, the year is 2224, and with a little bit of a rapid building out of a double starport, we're now at our capacity of 50 ships. Which I know from spying on these guys is better than what they've got. Now that presents the question, what do we actually want to do with you guys? Because part of what we're after here is their DNA, and there's lots of different ways we could go and get it. The elegant solution is subjugating them, because one of the terms I can insist on is they send to me DNA packets on the regular, which sounds incredibly dodgy, so I'm not 100% sure I'm comfortable with that. The other is just to move in, take their planets, and keep them as an ongoing source of DNA. But that doesn't mean we need to conquer the entire empire. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in and take, yeah, their homeworld and a small outlying territory. In the event the homeworld turns out to be difficult to hold, I do have a plan B. Right, deploy my fleet into position, and do enjoy, by the way, how my maulers do have to get right up to their target. Like, Maulers isn't just a dramatic name. They're basically melee spaceships that have got little pincers on the front that they use to go and punch their enemies. It's great. Now, are you guys actually going to send your fleet in? Oh, it looks like you are, you poor bastards. You shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. So, right, let's just head over there, intercept them. Our fleet is significantly stronger, and we can definitely reinforce faster than they can. So, they've immediately pulled out. Oh, guys, we didn't lose a single ship. Still, this war shouldn't take too long. Send my new armies over to deal with, the defenders on their home world. Once that's taken, they should be about ready to surrender. Why'd you do this to us? We only want to share this galaxy with you. I want to share this galaxy with you as well. Specifically, I'd love to share a meal with you guys. Speaking of which, right, there's now 2 ways we can deal with these people we've just captured. So of course we can't just integrate them into our empire. I'm a hive mind, they're individualistic. It just doesn't work. So, the 2 options are undesirable. Basically, we kill them all and convert the bodies into food. Big influx of food, but then it's over. The better option, I'd say, would be enslaving all of them. Because then, we can convert them into livestock. Basically, we start farming them sustainably. Their population neither rises nor decreases. We just, slowly, sustainably, and entirely ethically farm them for a new source of food. Now, on the tiny world of Lancord, that shouldn't be too difficult because, yes, it's not a huge population, and even then, 28 food. Not bad at all. Now, on the former homeworld, that I admit is going to be a bit more difficult, because there are a lot of people on this world. Specifically, yes, right now we have got 5,400 livestock slave pops who are being slowly farmed, and they're being managed by 200 of my drones. I feel like that's going to cause trouble down the line, yes. Still, that is a lot, and I do mean a lot of food they're yielding. Like, that's more than the flipping food output of Carbonara. Though, gosh darn it, we drew a flipping fungoids, not mammals, on the next thing, though, can you say fungoids spread rapidly? We've already got a rapid increase in population perk, and those tend to be mutually exclusive, so, if I take this, then it just became phototrophic, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. Oh no, that's a terrible thing! It turns out some of my, food upkeep has been replaced with energy. Oh, that's the last thing we flipping, oh dear. Right, so the new energy tally is minus 93 energy. Because all of a sudden we work on, like, sunlight or something, so... Wait, why would that mean we need, like, energy? We suddenly, all needing tanning beds to not be sad in winter or something. I don't know what's going on anymore, but okay, I've just crashed the economy by mutating unpredictably. Oh, this is the one thing I didn't want to see, by the way. I think possibly one of my nearest neighbours now is, the tenants of Tabby. I'm not sure I could bring myself to eat Tabby. That just feels wrong, and I don't want to do it. Oh yeah, the tenants of Tabby don't like these guys, so I feel like Tabby's about to come in, mop up the remainder, and then me and Tabby are going to be bordering each other, so... Oh, Tabby, I'm so sorry about this. Oh, hang on. Hang on. I just came up with a genius idea, which is, fine. I can't manage the slaves here, because there's too many of them all in one place. But they don't have to all be in one place. So, some of you, the lucky ones, get to go to the smaller world, because that kind of, agrees with you in terms of climate already. And everyone else gets divided across my worlds. I've just noticed, by the way, that doing this appears to be pushing up the, anger on the planet and whatnot. Like, every time I send people... Right, never mind, we need to go and take it back a second time. This may have been a mistake. Oh, and speaking of which, hang on. We may be, on the clock here. I think Tabby's launched her invasion too. Okay, me and Tabby are now fighting over who gets to take control of these losers. Oh, but cooking finally... Right, let's get some mammal DNA. I have now gained... Oh, genetic memory is really good. That one means yes, as the colony gets older, habitability goes up. So basically, you can just live anywhere if you're willing to tolerate it for a century or so. Okay, so the situation currently is, me and Tabby are now simultaneously bombarding the world Arakim. which has got like 1,000 army on it, so neither of us could take it. And if neither of us could take it, I don't think, these guys are going to surrender to either of us. But one thing did just occur to me, which is, that's actually fine. Because now I'm basically stuck in an infinite war that no one can win forever. And as long as that's happening, I get 30% bonus growth. Right, well let's just leave this stalemate alone. This is working well in my favour. Oh yeah, look at that population explosion. I love it. Tragically, the Forever War was not able to last forever, because yes, after a few years, these bastards were able to force peace on us, though, gonna be honest, this peace has worked out pretty nicely. Cause yeah, me and Tabby were invading simultaneously, meaning neither of us was able to take enough land to force the vassalization. So in the end, Tabby took this tiny bit of territory, and I took this tiny bit of territory, meaning I get the smaller of the two worlds, but not the bigger, more troublesome one that kicked off the rebellion. So now I've just got a much smaller and more manageable group of livestock slaves, so honestly this has worked out perfectly. Also, you may have noticed up in the top right there, oh yeah, the Galactic community's formed, which very conveniently fills out the map a lot, meaning, have realised, apparently a lot of my old friends are hanging out nearby on my side of the galaxy. So okay, we've got the Peace Pods, we've got the Almetas, we've got the Infinite Pond, we've got the Romans right there as well, though, okay, maybe a tiny bit concerningly. Yeah, the Roman Empire looks like it's a tiny bit on the big side. Actually, they've definitely eaten a few additional empires. Still, this has also highlighted, yeah, the weaker outlying empires that aren't doing so well to me, so we've got you guys, you are currently isolated, you don't like the Romans next door, etc, etc, and your fleet is pathetically weak, though you're a mammal, which isn't ideal. I've already got mammal DNA, and then yeah, beyond the buffer state, we've got Tabby, I'm pretty sure is, yep, she's a mammal as well. Beyond her, though, arthropoids, you say? Yeah, there's just a line of weak, isolated empires here. So what I think I might do is mop up all of them while I wait for something very, very important to happen with the Galactic community. So I've realised there's way more ways of getting DNA than I originally considered. Okay, Tabby, sweetheart, you're up first, but don't worry, we are not going to eat you, turn you into livestock, anything. Instead, we're just going to vassalize you. Oh, and here we go. I was just mopping up, collecting a whole bunch of beautiful vassals on my border here. Looking down, basically, yes, this entire corner of the galaxy, a series of genetic DNA banks belonging to me. And the galactic market just got established. And I know I'm not, a big trader or anything, but okay, here's what I'm thinking, because this only struck me while I was playing. You see, officially, the Galactic community may refer to this as the slave market, but I prefer to think of it as a buffet. Though I'll freely admit, the slave buffet is a bit, quiet for the time being. No one else seems to be selling slaves. That's really bloody annoying. Because yes, I do have the slight issue that while this business over here is complete, yeah, for some reason I regained Aramus, meaning that world is once a bloody again low stability, though. Oh, John, you absolute cocky genius. If I just sell a handful of slaves from Arakim, one, that'll make Arakim way easier to manage, and two, once I've broken the ice, maybe some other people will start selling slaves. Ah, you see, people are starting to wake up here, though unfortunately, robots. We don't need robots, okay? We need nice, tasty biologicals. Though speaking of which, right, it's time to negotiate a new deal with you guys, my friends. Because I'm not asking for much from you guys. All I want is for you to, yeah, send over some DNA on a monthly basis. Tabby, meanwhile, just gets an aid agency, because we like Tabby, and this aid agency will be supplying cuddles and biscuits and whatnot. Still, with all of that in play, yes, I've just got down a new lovely world over here. And I think, yes, we might finally have the technology in play to turn this into something really rather special. Because, being a biological empire, ideally, I need a lot of biological research, so it's finally time to go back to what I was talking about right at the beginning. Society Research Specialization. Oh, and here we go. Adaptive evolution completes once again, and arthropoids are on the menu, because apparently they're delightfully crunchy. Am I about to become delightfully crunchy? No, I just gained chroma logs. Oh, that one's amazing. Army health, plus 40%. Governing ethics attraction, 15%, whatever. But job efficiency for physicists, 20%. Job efficiency for bureaucrats, 20% as well. So that's just a giant pile of, physics research, Unity, army health. Oh, that one is good. So here we go. As you can see, this world is pretty basic, barely even kicked off yet, 1,400 people on it, and not many buildings, plenty of empty building slots. So we've set up, the Society Research Specialization, built a single building into it. However, I've also built the Biological Research Support Structure, meaning for every farm I build on this planet, we gain 50 more Society Researcher jobs, and every job gets 10% bonus outputs. Meaning altogether, this society that's barely even flipping got started has already got 500 society researchers generating 56 society research. My homeworld, with 2 level 2 research complexes and also a dedicated society research McGibble as well, is only producing 73. I literally just built one more city and one more farm, and now, yes, this society research world has overtaken my homeworld with its 2 research complexes with a single cocking building. I like the new planet system. The new planet system is fun. Oh, a perfect flipping timing. We've just picked up our 3rd flipping tradition tree. And this is where genetic engineering can go a bit bananas, because that gives us access to biomorphosis, the ability to start playing with our DNA. Now that unlocks the genomic research facility and, that just feels perfect for my brand new society research tech world, doesn't it? Oh, while I'm, waiting for the biomorphosis event to wrap up, can't help but notice that yes, we've now unlocked the ability to do a 2nd specialization on all of our planets. And there's nothing to stop me putting a farming support into Carbonara again, meaning all of the effects would be doubled, including the trade costs when we're barely keeping up with trade, but... Oh, go on then, why not? If this turns out to be a disaster, we can change our minds and just build over it. Oh, this is going to crash the hell out of the economy. This is going to be a disaster, so... right, you're now in play. Minus 66. But food income has definitely jumped a bit, yes. The point of the biomorphosis event, by the way, is, yes, you're supposed to be able to choose which direction you want to go. Mutation, cloning, or purity. But because I'm a nonsense mutant origin, I don't get a choice. I'm just stuck with mutation. So you get what you get. And what I do get is a brand new tradition tree for mutation. So, okay. There's some rather sexy stuff in here. In particular, yes. Now, habitability can reach to 100%. And for every 10% above 100, you gain job efficiency, pop housing usage goes down, amenity usage goes down, so... okay, if you can stack enough stupid habitability bonuses on top of each other, yeah, you can get some really, really big bonuses there. Oh, hang on. This is auto-modding, but for habitability. So... my pops are literally just going to adjust themselves to prefer wherever it is I put them, meaning I can now settle anywhere for free, and that's before we get into the 200% habitability nonsense. Oh yeah, every planet in my flipping empire just went green. I've got 80% default because, yeah, 50% is the starting point. I picked up extremely adaptable. I've got 10% from somewhere, I don't know where, and then that would just keep going up as well because, hang on. I've got genetic memory for up to 50%, so... right, well this is just as silly, isn't it? There we go. Habitability on my homeworld is now 134%, so everyone just got better at everything. And next up, we gain another 50% job efficiency from my genomic research facilities, which I just built everywhere because they produce a lot of amenities, and amenities can be in short supply for hive minds, so... also, leader experience gain, leader lifespan. Okay, that's going to be very powerful in terms of everything, actually. Oh, and this is fun. Yes, on this side of the tray, this would normally be about gene modding, but I can't gene mod because, yes, my population just evolves anyway, so instead it specializes to me. Yeah, I get better in terms of my auto-modding, and then ultimately, I can always gain a random phenotype trait from adaptive evolution. So, right, I can just gain anything at random. Though, hang on. Let's just ignore that for a second, because sure, we could just gain something at random, but what the cock is a Leviathan trait? Drake scaled for army health up and also free alloys. Voidling for food upkeep replaced by energy. Oh, we don't want that. That could be flipping dangerous, actually. Or polymelic for, right, organic. Oh. Just people become more people. Which also stacks with clone vats, which I've got everywhere. So, oh, that would be amazing, but Voidling would be a risk. So, oh, gone, we've got to risk it. Oh, it is fun, by the way. Didn't even know this was coming. Apparently, when you ramp up Mutation, you've got the ability to straight up say, hey, I'm so into Mutation, I'm going to reform my government to be mutation-based. So, the more traits I've got, the more benefits I gain empire-wide, which is, I mean, that's pretty bloody good. Also, I appear to be terraforming my homeworld into a hive world. Okay, not really sure what that's gonna do, but sure, why not? Oh, and finally, here we go. Ascension perk number 4 means the brand new become the crisis. Previously we had Galactic Nemesis, we had Cosmogenesis. Now, we've got something new. Very literally, becoming the Apex Galactic Predator. Which in a delightfully silly turn, basically just begins with you declaring, hey, what if we make the biggest egg in the world? That would logically hatch into a gigantic mega predator. Hilariously, the giant egg needs nothing but a ridiculous amount of food, so, okay, we could do this. Carbonara is already generating, yes, almost 1,000 food, all by itself. And every time we build a city district, that's gonna jump, right, by about another 100. Amazing. I think, by the way, yes, given I can't help but notice that, there is clearly a possibility of, yes, my mega monster going a bit bananas. We should have the angle icon down here, out of the way. I question the science of us sending a construction ship to go and build a big egg as, you know, the logical starting point for a giant apex predator, but sure, we're just building a big egg. Oh, here's fun, by the way. So it turns out, yes, a hive world under the new system is just a mega urban world, except biological. So, okay, it's like a slimy, gross Ecumenopolis. I love it. But more importantly than anything else, in a tiny hidden corner of our empire, it turns out we have built a really cocky big egg. Sorry, did you say 100,000 food in order to hatch it? Not a cocky problem. And fast forward 1 decade because, oh my. Oh flipping my, the egg appears to have shattered, creating its own residual leftover megastructure. That gets us our first ridiculous mega beast. Oh yeah. There she is. Oh, she's beautiful. She's 30,000 strong, which is, you know, pretty good for this point of the game, though I suspect over time, yeah, that might fall behind a bit. Because as time goes on, we might be able to make it even flipping bigger. Still, I'd say yes, that's the work of a complete playthrough. I think for now, you very much get the point. This here is Stellaris BioGenesis, and I've got to say, as much fun as I've had with all of the nonsense new genetic nightmares and whatnot, I think in many ways, the biggest game changer is what they've just handed out for free, the 4.0 update and the revised planetary system, because just consider how my empire's shaped up here. Complete food production across the entire empire, 4,600, 3,700 of that is coming from a single cocking planet. The level of specialization is just great, and I do love that. I absolutely adore that in many ways it feels like as much effort is going into the free updates as is actually going into the expansions too. So, okay. If you've never checked out Stellaris, it is so worth a look. See, link in the description below. Yeah, just in general, I love this game. I love it so very much. So, right. I need to go away, have a think about, yes, what these new systems potentially might make possible, and if I think of anything particularly exciting, who knows? There might even be an extra Stellaris livestream at some point to dig into some of this nonsense even flipping further. So hopefully you join me for that. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerds, and this has been Stellaris with BioGenesis. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
This is the face of death, okay? This is what my sudden death looks like. Do not engage before we arrive. Do not engage. What are you doing? I specifically said don't. Oh, no.
No, John.
Oh, he likes that. The Romans touched me.